Senator McKim.
Yes, thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. As a representative of the people of Tasmania and of this planet, I wish to provide some empirical evidence to this Senate. But before I do, I note that Senator Malcolm Roberts, despite bringing on this debate as an urgency debate, a matter of public opinion, he's now fled the chamber, presumably so embarrassed by his sad and sorry contribution that he's decided to go back into his burrow rather than listen to other contributions to the debate. But the empirical evidence that I wish to provide is about George Yusuf, one of the so-called street preachers mentioned by Senator Roberts in his speech. Now, George Yusuf has been charged by Queensland Police, and this is what the Queensland Police have said about Mr Yusuf. They said he was vilifying gay people, he was causing anxiety, he was disrupting the trade of businesses. This is on December the 4th last year. Police have also said that he told those who were intoxicated and celebrating the second week of schoolies that they would, quote, go to hell for being drunk, for being Muslim, for being Buddhist, and for having sex outside wedlock. I mean, this is a guy who was standing there abusing schoolies and suggesting that they would go to hell for fornicating outside wedlock. Now, the Australian language is a beautiful thing, and it adapts to grow alongside our community. And of course, that adaptation has given us a word for strange adults who lurk around schoolies events. They are called toolies. So this toolie, Mr Yusuf, according to police, was abusing young people with xenophobic, wowzerish rubbish, and then defied police when they told him to give it a rest. I mean, it sounds like he would fit in perfectly into One Nation. He sounds like a square peg in the square hole that is One Nation, and I actually think he would make a fantastic candidate for One Nation in the upcoming Queensland election. In fact, it beggars belief that Senator Roberts, neither Senator Roberts nor Senator Hanson, has actually approached Mr Yusuf and actually begged him to run, because, as I said, it sounds like he would fit in perfectly into the weird, wacky world of Senator Malcolm Roberts and Senator Pauline Hanson. I mean, it's absolutely fitting that Senator Roberts has come into this place, the Australian Senate, to defend a toolie who was shouting abuse at innocent passers-by. I mean, it is an absolutely neat embodiment of Senator Roberts' contribution to this country and the political conversation in Australia. I mean, like Mr Yusuf, One Nation is a political clown car. It is colourful, it provides an amazing spectacle, especially as it produces a seemingly endless stream of loud idiots out of the back seat, and the rest of the country is left only to wonder how you could fit so many fools into one small red car. But as we saw in Western Australia recently, the clown car has caught fire, and what an awful but fantastic spectacle it is to see. One Nation crashing and burning. An absolute delight for those of us who care about environmental sustainability, for those of us that care about respect and tolerance for people, no matter what their cultural, racial or religious backgrounds. I want to put the case of Mr Yusuf, the strange case of Mr Yusuf, the so-called street preacher, and the even stranger case of Senator Malcolm Roberts to one side, and talk about freedom of religion briefly in this place. Because One Nation, and it has to be said, many people who appease One Nation who are currently in the Liberal Party are the biggest threat to freedom of religion in Australia. They purport to stand up for freedom of speech and freedom of religion, but when you peel back the veneer, they are doing anything but. I mean, One Nation wants to end Islamic immigration and basically make it impossible for people in Australia to practice the Islamic religion. Senator Roberts has stood up today and called for an increase in racial profiling. One Nation wants to get rid of section 116 of the Australian Constitution, one of the few protections of freedom of religion that we have in this country. And for Senator Roberts to come into this place and claim that he's defending freedom of religion when all he's doing, as he always does, is come into this place and defend freedoms of people to be Fruit Loops is absolutely hypocritical. First, as my colleague and friend Senator Ludlam said, they came for the Fruit Loops. Well, we've got news for Senator Roberts, we've got news for Senator Hanson, we've got news for all the people in the Liberal Party and the National Party who want to see a weakening of protections against racial hate speech in this country. The Australian Greens have listened to what Multicultural Australia has said to us, what they have told us and what they have asked of us. And we will stand shoulder to shoulder with people from the Muslim communities of Australia, the Jewish communities of Australia, the Chinese communities of Australia, the Greek communities of Australia, the Italian communities of Australia, the Indian communities of Australia, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities of Australia. And we will do as they have asked us to do. And they asked us very clearly during the inquiries that the Greens attended and participated in regards to Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act, and they said to us, do not water down protections against racial hate speech in this country, and particularly don't water them down now. When you've got a racist in the White House, when you've got an upsurge in support for racist political parties around Western democracies around the world, do not weaken the protections against racial hate speech in Australia. And we will stand shoulder to shoulder with those people, all of those people, those Australians, no matter what their cultural background, those Australians who asked us to stay strong, and we will stay strong on Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act. We will stay strong against racist political parties like One Nation, and we will stay strong against allowing people to be hectored and vilified, no matter the basis for that in the context of George Yusuf, who again was vilifying gay people, Muslims, Buddhists, and telling schoolies they're going to go to hell simply for being drunk and having sex outside wedlock. It's very instructive that Senator Roberts is in here today defending that person, George Yusuf, and in effect endorsing his comments. I reckon Senator Roberts ought to have a drink every now and again, chill out, loosen up, get with the program and understand the views of ordinary Australians who he claims to represent, but has epically failed to do so since he was elected into this place.